Robert Ingebretson. When I was on the Spinix, I was a TM2. Prior to that, of course, I joined the Navy in 1964, January, out of Minnesota. Had a good reason to leave Minnesota, of course. It was cold. Thought I was getting into Vietnam was heating up, of course, and all my friends and people around me, the high school class prior to me, were being drafted. And Navy recruiter happened to stop by where I was working one day and said, "Would you be interested in going in the Navy?" And I said, "That sure beat walking." And so he came back, I signed the papers. The day that I signed the papers, my draft notice came in to go into the Army. Of course, that was, got into the Navy that way. I chose San Diego, California as a boot camp. Coming from Minnesota, I always had visions of California being nice and warm and all that. Well, on our flight out there, we didn't get there till 12:30 at night. And they told us not to bring a lot of clothes because we'd have to either ship it back, give it away, or whatever. And I chose to just have a light jacket on and all that. Well, they put us out underneath this canopy and had us wait. And we sat underneath there till, I guess it was 3:30 in the morning. Cold, wet from the dew and all that. They finally let us go to bed at about 4:30, and they got us up at 5:30 to start our first day in boot camp. So right then they kind of demoralized us to say, "Hey, we're in charge of whatever you do, so don't make a mistake." I ended up, of course, with a boot camp company that was a lot of people from the Midwest. And during that period, one day we went over to an inspection with the platoon from battalion, and they walked around and they were looking at each person, and they selected me to be a battalion commander. So I got to go participate in all the ceremonies as graduating classes were going through boot camp. I guess I participated in about 5 of them, in addition to being with the rest of the group during the day and all that. Left boot camp in 1964, went over to A school, and well, during boot camp, I guess I should say that we went to a classification screening, and after we took some initial testing and that, and they said, what do you want to be? And I said, well, I'd like to be an ET. And they said, well, we'll make you a torpedoman. So again, it was the Navy wants, they're going to take and get. So I said, okay, well, that'll be fine. And they said, would you be interested in going to submarines? And I said, certainly. Not knowing anything about submarines, coming from the Midwest. And so anyway, after boot camp, they sent me over to Torpedoman A School in San Diego, which was about a 6-7 week course. And from there, they sent me to New London, Connecticut for sub school. Again, for the period in sub school. At sub school, the fleet ballistic missile submarines were just coming into existence. And it was the big hype up there. They were asking everybody for, what type of submarine do you want to go on? Do you want to go on FBMs, or do you want to diesel boats, or this here? And well, thinking ahead, I said, well, I'd like to go on an FBM since they were brand new and all that. Well, in my submarine class, or school class, just about everybody that wanted to go to FBMs went to diesel boats, and everybody that wanted to go to diesel boats went to FBMs. So I got a set of orders coming out of sub school to go to the Spinix. And of course, there was a 30-day leak or anything prior to that. And that was, I guess, in October 1964.